Hello, and welcome to In The DeNovo. I'm Will Grace, founder and managing director here at DeNovo Treasury, where we empower leaders of community financial institutions entering commercial and industrial banking with expertise for their strategic investment in treasury management products and services. We prioritize the how over the what. We believe in a collaborative journey and go beyond traditional services by actively transferring treasury management expertise to our clients. Thank you for joining us and staying in the know with In The DeNovo.
And then we've also heard the term banking as a service. And just I want to make sure, because we've talked about banking as a service, and I talk about banking as a service with my clients a lot. And I want to make sure that we're delineating between all three of these things, because I think they do cross at some points too.
Yeah, I think the banking as a service side, though, generally it's how do you actually give fintechs banking services, but those usually operate outside of the core attribute of what the bank is servicing for their normal customer set. So I kind of look at it as even slightly bigger derivation, because ultimately you're just trying to drive the fintech to have banking services
Sure.
that they can then use with their customers. But again, while it may grow deposits of the financial institution, it's not an integrated thing, and usually those customers of those fintechs are not the financial institution's customers. And I think that's a big difference between embedded banking and then banking as a service.
Yeah, and the banking as a service side tends to have a lot. You have to build a lot of infrastructure as it relates to compliance and regulatory issues, and maybe not so much on the embedded banking side. Am I thinking about that correctly?
Yeah, because generally the embedded banking side, you have a customer that you've already gone through a KYC process on, and it's the bank's customer. And ultimately,
Yeah,
you're just enabling the services to be extended out into the platform that the customer wants to use,
got it.
which usually they want to use their bank, but a lot of times it's not necessarily easy to do so.
Yeah, and I guess also on the banking as a service side, it's really been kind of a shortcut for financial institutions like community banks to build volume. And that's because it's not their customer, right? Because the fintechs are bringing them volumes very quickly. And
Yeah.
that's where sometimes they get in trouble because they don't have the compliance or infrastructure built properly. That's where we've seen some of the fines coming from,
Yeah.
some of the regulatory bodies.
Yeah, it's funny that we're going to take a little bit of a tangent here for a second, but the
Hmm.
know your customer's customer thing has been around for a
Yeah,
very, very
it
long
has,
time.
right?
And
Right.
it's
Yeah.
surprising that we all of a sudden think that we shouldn't have to do that because we're onboarding a fintech who has a bunch of customers.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, that's why people get in trouble with anti-money laundering and other things that are happening across some of those platforms. I mean, that
Sure.
said, I don't want to vilify the entire banking as a service industry. There's a lot of people doing it well.
Yeah.
It just happens that there's a few that have partnered with some unfortunate companies that have not been on the up and up.
Sure, but I think it's a good place to kind of delineate what's happening with embedded banking versus banking as a service and
Yeah, if we
where
had embedded banking, the question is, would you need banking as a service? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I
maybe
think
not. Yeah.
honestly, for scale, you probably do. But if banks were able to service their customers more inherently and drive those better connections, deeper connections, I actually think it's at the mutual benefit of both the financial technology firm as well as the financial institution involved for their customer.
Yeah. And maybe embedded banking is a better way to go about it from a growth perspective and give them the opportunity to grow with the service. I think it's just embedded banking as a service. It could be done, if you do it too quickly. I think it's for a community bank. You could be signing up for some trouble. That's all. You have to be very careful.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of In The DeNovo. For more content like the video we shared today, check out our website at denovotreasury.com and our YouTube channel at DeNovo Treasury. Thanks, and see you next time.